Chapter 5, Protecting People and the Environment. Pesticides are poisons. Whenever you handle pesticides, you must take precautions to prevent harm to people or the environment. In this presentation, you will learn about necessary precautions and how to handle emergencies involving pesticides. It is important that you learn about potential problems and safety procedures before you use a product. This information is not standard and may vary from product to product. 3 important sources of information are pictured here. Number 1, the pesticide label. This is the most important source of information. Check on the label for signal words, protective equipment requirements, special precautions for protecting the environment and people, and also first aid instructions. Number 2, the Material Safety Data Sheet, or MSDS. These information sheets are prepared by the manufacturer and may be available from the store, from the manufacturer by calling the 800 number on the label, or on the internet. MSDS sheets describe chemical characteristics and hazards. They list fire and explosion hazards, health hazards, acute toxicity or LD50 values, information for handling emergencies, and other important information. Keep a binder with the MSDS sheets for the products you use. Number 3, the Pesticide Safety Information Series from the Department of Pesticide Regulation. These sheets give general information on how to properly and safely use pesticides. They are available in several languages from the Agricultural Commissioners or the Department of Pesticide Regulation website. Use the N or non-agricultural series. The first step you can take to protect people and the environment is to choose the safest pesticide available to control the target pest. Check the signal words and precautionary statements on the label to evaluate potential problems. Remember that the danger signal word indicates the most serious risk, and caution products are likely to cause less harm. Also make sure that the site and plant you want to treat are on the label. And also check to make sure the specific pest you want to control is listed. Some pesticides that have special problems are frequently used in the landscape. One is metaldehyde baits applied to control snails and slugs. These are very toxic to pets and wildlife. Pelleted forms of metaldehyde are especially attractive to dogs. Never pile snail baits in mounds or clumps because this attracts dogs and children. Snail and slug baits containing iron phosphate, such as the Sluggo product pictured here, are not toxic to dogs or wildlife and are a safer alternative. The other pictured baits are metaldehyde. There are many brand names of metaldehyde on the market. Another type of pesticide that can cause serious harm in landscapes is rodenticides. Many of these products have danger signal words and are highly toxic to pets, people, and wildlife. If you use rodenticides, always place them in bait stations or, if applied for gopher control, underground. Special gopher probes are available for applying gopher pellets in gopher tunnels. It is your responsibility to protect the public from exposure to the pesticides you apply, both during and after the application. Notify residents before you apply a pesticide and keep people and pets out of the treated area until the spray dries or other entry restrictions have passed. You must also apply pesticides carefully, making sure they're not carried off the treatment site by drifting in air or washing away with rainwater or later irrigations. To protect people and the environment, don't apply pesticides when the following conditions exist: when it is windy, when rain is expected, if the area will be irrigated soon, when people or pets are present, if the site is close to water, such as a creek or pond, If the pesticide droplet size produced by your sprayer is so small that droplets can easily drift, you'll want to adjust your nozzles to correct that problem. Pesticide contamination of creeks, rivers, and oceans is a problem associated with pesticide use in many urban areas. Never pour leftover pesticides down drains. This will contaminate our rivers and oceans. Both inside and outside drains ultimately flow into rivers or oceans, and water treatment plants do not detoxify pesticides. Before you mix, handle, or apply pesticides, you must put on personal protective equipment, or PPE, to protect yourself from injury. The basic protective equipment required for any pesticide application includes chemical-resistant gloves and eye protection in the form of safety glasses with side shields or goggles. Some products require additional PPE. For instance, chemical-resistant boots or hats or coveralls or bibs. Read the label to see what is required. Never wear a fabric baseball cap when you're applying pesticides. The cap can absorb pesticides and keep it on your skin. You could get sick from this exposure. You must wear personal protective equipment when you are moving application equipment from the truck, when you are mixing or measuring pesticides, when you are opening pesticide containers, when you are cleaning application equipment. Also, remember to wear gloves when you're cleaning goggles and other PPE. Wash your personal protective equipment every day after you use it. But don't contaminate yourself. Keep your gloves on and use soapy water. Remove the gloves last. When you get home, you need to be careful not to contaminate yourself or your family with pesticide residues on your clothing or body. Shower and put on clean clothes as soon as you get home. Wash your work clothing separately from other laundry. And always wash hands with soap and water before eating, drinking, smoking, or using the bathroom. Be prepared for emergencies. Know what to do if you or a coworker come in contact with a pesticide. You will need to respond immediately following these steps. First, leave the contaminated area. Second, reduce exposure by removing contaminated clothing if pesticide has been spilled on it, and washing skin or eyes with water if they have been exposed. Next, if emergency first aid is required, for instance to restore breathing, call for help and then begin rescue breathing. Check the label for first aid instructions. Obtain medical care immediately by calling 911 for an ambulance or taking the person to the nearest medical facility. If possible, bring the pesticide label, but in any case, be sure to know the name of the pesticide applied and its EPA registration number. If pesticides have been swallowed, this is a very serious emergency, and you must act quickly. Call 911 first. Do not induce vomiting unless instructed to do so. Be sure to have the pesticide label on hand. Be prepared for spills or leaks. Always keep these items in your truck. Personal protective equipment to wear when cleaning up spills. Absorbent material such as kitty litter or commercial absorbent and a dustpan and broom to sweep it up. A container for putting the contaminated absorbent material in. A marker for labeling waste. Emergency numbers to call when necessary. The label and MSDS sheets for each pesticide you are carrying in your truck. All pesticide spills or leaks should be treated as emergencies. Follow these steps when cleaning up a spill. Clear the area of people and animals. Put on the proper personal protective equipment. Check the label if you're not sure what's required. Contain the leak. If the material is leaking out of a package, place the package in another container. Prevent the spill from spreading. Starting at the edges of the spill and working inward to the center, apply kitty litter or another absorbent material. Next, sweep up the pesticide and absorbent material and place it in a sealable container and label it. Make sure to label it with the pesticide product name and EPA number. If the spill occurred on concrete or some other non-porous surface, you can clean the surface with a concentrated detergent solution. Don't allow the solution to flow into drains. Scrub it with a broom and put absorbent material on top of the detergent and sweep it up into a container labeled for contaminated waste. Local regulations for disposal vary. However, usually contaminated materials can be taken to the household hazardous waste site. Check with your agricultural commissioner. Remember that you are legally responsible for all the pesticides that you apply. If the application injures plants, animals, people, or property, you are responsible. You may be required to pay the medical bills of people injured by pesticide applications. You could be liable for damage to valuable landscape trees. You can be fined by the agricultural commissioner. You are required to have liability insurance or adequate financial resources to protect yourself against claims associated with pesticide use. You will be required to provide proof of liability insurance or sign a financial responsibility statement when you apply for a maintenance gardener business license. This is the end of the presentation for Chapter 5, Protecting People and the Environment and Handling Pesticide Emergencies. This would be a good time to review the sample test questions and workbook exercises for this chapter.